Well, with me on the final word today, sat on the balcony of the Bedser stand, is a man who's taken the better part of 800 professional wickets, a great many of them here at the Oval in South London. Kemar Roach, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
It's so good. It must be so good for you coming back to a ground that has been so good to you and a club that's had so much domestic success with you opening the bowling in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's been amazing coming back here at the Oval, getting around the boys again for the 4th season for me. Yeah, 5th year. But I think it's always good to come to my second home, and I enjoy it a lot. Being around the guys, the fun we have, the dressing room banter, the cricket we play very hard, but we enjoy each other's success as well. So it's happy to come home. It gets a little refreshing for me. So I'm happy to be here for another season.
It sounds nice when you describe it as home. I mean, I suppose in your 5th campaign, you brief stint in 21, it must now sort of feel like a second home, right?
Yeah, definitely. For the first time Alex Stewart called me and told me to come over, I was eager to come, obviously knowing that Surrey is a big club. And the way they've treated me from the time I got here, it's beyond my imagination, man. And I always eager to come back, looking forward to come back. Whenever they call upon me, I make myself available once I am. And yeah, it's definitely my second home. It's about 5 years here now, so that's a big part of my career, actually.
And the way you've been able to dip in and out, like a short spell here and a short spell there, it takes a welcoming environment to make that easy rather than a burden.
Yeah, definitely does. Obviously, it's a refreshing, as I said. Obviously, I start most of the time in the first part of the season. Obviously, with the wickets are a little bit greener, hopefully, and you get a little bit more movement. But I come back in the end, obviously, to help win the championship for the guys, and we've done that for the last 3 years. So I'm very happy with the way we've gone about it. Very professional, and we've had good success under fantastic leadership. So I'm happy.
I mean, obviously, such a storied Test career now, 284 Test wickets, going all the way back to a different world, really, and we'll get to that eventually. But do you think it's been, in part, your stints here at Surrey that's helped you develop, and not just develop, but stay at the standard you need to be a Test bowler?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I get good coaching here. When I come here, there's good information that gets passed on from me, from either the bowlers. I've been here for a long time, or the bowling coach, the head coach, the captain. There's a lot of like analysts and stuff around that helps you with your game, and I think that's what's kept me going for the last couple of years. Obviously, back home, there's not much domestic cricket, not as intense as it is over here. So for me to come over here and get somewhat a stronger sense of domestic cricket as closer to Test cricket, it gives me good joy in terms of obviously tweaking on my game and learning some stuff, and then obviously taking it back home into the West Indies and playing national cricket.
So much team success. This is, of course, Surrey trying to win 4 in a row in 2025. You've been part of all of that. But individual success too. Days like the one out here against Warwickshire, wasn't it, when you rolled through them on a Sunday afternoon with a nice, healthy crowd, beautiful day as well. It doesn't get much more enjoyable than that, surely.
No, it doesn't. There's a lot of love from me when it comes to red ball cricket. It's hard work. Don't get it twisted. It's hard work, but I think the success that comes after 4 days of putting in the hard yards, it feels much better than one-day cricket or T20 cricket for me. And the grind of it all is really taxing on the body. But as I said, at the end of the day, you look back on the game and you say, you know what, we earned that win. It makes you feel really proud of yourself and proud of your ability. So I love the red ball format. I've been part of it for now 15 to 16 years. So I think it has done wonders for me and helped me through my career.
You're aligned with your Test captain, Craig Brathwaite, in speaking like that around red ball cricket. He'll often say that, I mean, he hasn't played T20, obviously, a bit of a different situation with him, but how rewarding it is over a number of days. And even though you've had the chance to play T20 around the world, excellent white ball record across both formats, it's still the red ball stuff that keeps you coming back.
Yeah, it holds me, man. It grabs me. I think there's a massive love for it, as I said. Getting the ball to swing, the different stages of the game, you have to adapt. You come back the next day, your body's a little bit sore, you have to pull through. It's a really good feeling at the end of the day when you win, especially. So I want to give it up for the world. I love playing rubber cricket, and hopefully we'll see how long it can go.
You're born in 1988, which for a lot of cricketers around your age has led them down a different path, very much a white ball oriented path. But I want to go back to Barbados, where you're born, which has been such a remarkable hotspot over the years for Test cricketers. A small country, a relatively small country, that's produced something like 100 Test players at men's level, way beyond what the population would account for.
Yeah.
Take us there. Explain why Barbados has been such a special place for producing Test cricketers over the years, and where you fit into that tradition?
I think it's because the love for cricket is massive in Barbados still. Obviously, there's a rich history of great cricketers before me, the likes of Sir Garfield Sobers, Joel Garners, the Malcolm Marshalls. Those guys have laid a foundation for us to obviously reap rewards now. And there's a massive love because those guys have done so well for themselves back in the day. And their record speaks for itself as well. So growing up, I was hearing those names, watching them on TV, whether it be the highlights or whatever. And I didn't get a chance to meet Malcolm Marshall, but I've been around Joel Garner a lot. I've had conversations with Sir Garfield Sobers as well. So those guys inspire you to be a cricketer. So for me, it just growing up, hearing those names, seeing the performances on TV, it just makes you want to emulate everything they did.
Was it in the blood as well? What's the family connection to cricket with you?
There's not much. I think my mom's boyfriend at the time, he played cricket in the community, so I always tag along with him, help around, chase the balls, bring them back, and I started to get a love for it. And then obviously in the community I grew up in, cricket was the biggest sport, so I was around it most of the days when I was young. So it just, what I say, it's been bled into me. So for me, it's just obviously trying to maximize on a little talent I have in cricket, and obviously it's taken me all over the world. I've done wonders for myself, and I've had a pretty good career. So it's definitely a good choice, I would say, for my heydays.
It really does stand out just how quickly it happened for you as a young bloke. I mean, you're playing Windies 19s, you're playing first-class cricket, debuting in 2008 as like a 19, 20-year-old, but then you vaulted into the Test squad when the Australians are there, and a T20 international debut follows before you'd even played a T20 domestic game. I mean, that's a rapid rise to the top.
I guess I was kind of a talented player from young. A lot of eyes are on me. I think I was born in pretty quick for a 17, 18-year-old. And obviously Barbados had a rich history of fast bowlers. So that obviously got the eyes and got the people sparked, and the love for me and the admiration for me came out. And obviously I was put into the fire from early. So I would say it was obviously surprising to get an early start like that, but I think it went well. I've carried on to play for Test cricket from an early age, I think 20, 21, and I've been playing ever since. So I would say it's a pretty good career, and I'm pretty happy and pretty proud of myself.
It must have taken some real steel in your first game of its kind. As I said before, first professional T20 game. You're playing an Aussie team. It's a very unusual Aussie team when you look back at it. Luke Ronke's there, who went on to play for New Zealand. Shaun Marsh, Shane Watson, who's perhaps Australia's greatest player in the format. David Hussey, Mike Hussey, Cam White, Ricky Ponting, who you go on to be a teammate of later, which we'll return to, Michael Clark, Brett Lee, Mitchell Johnson, James Hopes. I mean, it's a pretty strong Aussie team you're up against.
There's always a strong Aussie team. They put up some fantastic cricketers, man. I think we won that game to the first 20 game in the Barbados. I think we won that game, man. But I think it was obviously nerve-wracking as a youngster coming against those big names. But mostly I enjoyed it, man. I was told to go out there, have fun, enjoy it. My mom was in the stand watching me, cheering me on. So it was all inspirational for me.
You're going out there to try and bowl fast, right? That's what you do. And I suppose that's why they pick you for Test cricket so young as well in 2009. But what an unusual... I said it must have been a strange experience for you playing against the Aussies when you hadn't played that form before. Even more unusual walking into a quite substantial pay dispute where West Indies cricket was riven by industrial drama, and a new Test 11 had to be picked from nowhere to play Bangladesh. 9 debutants, yourself included, playing under the captaincy of Floyd Arifa, who hadn't played for a decade. I mean, you must have wondered, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah. As I said, that was a tough time, I would say. Remember it quite clearly. I got a call. I was practicing for my domestic club in Barbados, Maple, and I got a call from Joel Garner at the time asking me if I'll be interested in playing for West Indies, obviously in the upcoming series, due to the dispute that's going on. And I was 50-50 because, you know what, I'm a player first, but obviously it's the West Indies too. So it's like there's a reason why these guys are stand up for something, and then there's like this opportunity to play for West Indies. So I was caught in between two minds, but I spoke to my mom, and she said, you know what, this opportunity, I'm gonna never come again.
Yep.
So how about you just take it? And I did. And look where it's got me now. I think it worked out, I guess. Not an ideal situation to be in, but I think it has started my career off on a pretty decent note. I had a pretty good series against Bangladesh.
Yep.
And I've carried on from there. So funny story, but you know what? You look back on it and you know it's a learning experience.
Interesting you make that observation that you thought it might have maybe counted against you playing in that side. Were you ever down the track, did it ever come back to bite you in any way? Or was there an acceptance that as a young guy, you were just doing the best you could?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think the guys were like, you know what? He's a young guy. He was doing the best he could. Playing for West Indies is a big deal for him, of course, at that age. So I think the guys understood that, you know what? He was arts and he went and represented. And it's still representing West Indies. I think at the end of the day, representing West Indies is what it's all about. As I said, not the ideal situation, but you look back on it and you tell yourself, you know what? It was a chance I was given and you grabbed it. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
A 6 for in your second test match, a 5 for in one-day cricket early on as well. But to my thinking anyway, it was the 2009-10 tour of Australia where you really announced yourself as a guy who was bowling regularly above 150 kilometres an hour. People like Ian Chappell and Tony Cozier and Ricky Ponting all saying this bloke could be absolutely anything. I mean, you don't present like a fast bowler at 5'8". I suppose there's similarities to Malcolm 5'9" if you're wearing heels. The similarities to Malcolm Marshall in that sense. But your recollections of that series, rocking up to Australia where you hadn't been before, smacking Ricky Ponting in the elbow or making him retire hurt, and all that attention around this sprightly 21-year-old who could bowl real fast.
That was good memories, man. I do sit down with my guys at home and say, you know what, that's probably one of the best tours I've been on. In terms of, obviously, the freedom I was given. Chris Gayle was the captain. Obviously, that was right after the situation with the board as well. Yeah. So the team was coming back together, obviously with a point to prove. And, you know, I was given the opportunity to just be myself. First tour of Australia, which is always going to be a tough tour against a fantastic side. And it was like, you know what, let's go out there, give it your best shot. Bowl as fast as you could, put the balls in good areas and see what happens. And I think the tour for me, on and off the field, was very encouraging, very inspirational for me because, as I said, coming up with the situation with the board and then those big players around, it was Sarah Warren, the Shivering Shannon Pauls, the Chris Gales, and the Ramdings, those guys were there. The Dwayne Bravos was on that tour as well. And I think being around those guys pulled me in and obviously taught me a lot in terms of what Test cricket is about, how to take care of your body, in terms of how to manage the game, how to manage the day and stuff. It's like, it's a big learning experience for me. And the cricket of itself was tough. I think we got blown away in Gabba in the first test in like 3 days. And then we came back in Adelaide and we batted extremely well. We bowled extremely well as well. And we fought for a draw. And then I think in Perth, that's probably the test match of the series where it was topsy-turvy for the both teams. And then it came down to like the last innings where we lost by 20 runs or something. So I think that was a fantastic series for me, and I think it's one of the best series I've had.
Oh, yeah. Very close to pinching that one at Perth, which would have been a huge deal at the time. A few of those names that you rattled through before as part of that touring party, they had a reputation for really enjoying themselves off the field as well. I mean, how did you manage that as, again, a young guy in the dressing room, trying to do your best and perform your best, but also trying to, I guess, get into the culture of a dressing room that had clearly had fun?
Yeah, of course. You know, obviously Chris Gayle loves his fun. Dwayne Bravo as well.
Yeah.
I think, those guys, they took me out. Like, because the cricket is going to be tough. They know it's going to be nerve-wracking for me as a young player in Australia. So there's like, let's get out. Let's have a drink. Let's go shopping. Let's have a dinner or a lunch outside the hotel. And, you know, just relax. And that was the enjoyable part of it too, the whole tour, being outside of the hotel and obviously enjoying the moment. Being in Australia, a beautiful place it is, a lot to see, a lot to do. And, you know, it took a lot of pressure off of me, knowing that, you know what, these guys have my back, these guys looking out for me. So it's like, let's go on the field, have some fun, and play good cricket. That was it.
Out the back of what you've done in Australia, you were highly sought after in the IPL auction that year. There's a bit of a bidding war. You go for stacks of money. Why don't we just start with that, like the idea of, again, being wealthy and young, and it only started 2 or 3 years earlier for you as a first-class player, and then you're being picked up in the most lucrative tournament in the world.
Yeah, that was life-changing, I would say. The IPL. I remember my agent calling me, and he was like, "Have you checked the news?" I was like, "No, I'm home chilling. I don't know what's going on." I know it was in the auction, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And he was like, "Well, my advice to you is to check the news." So I went on Google and I checked up on it, and I saw the figures that they went for. I was like, wow. Like, going from not having a lot My mom wasn't poor, but obviously she made ends meet very well. Um, Going from that to what the IPL gave me, that was life changing, man. And I remember crying actually. Tears came from my eyes, knowing that, you know what, if I didn't go to that Bangladesh tour for West Indies, and obviously I'll probably be home just chilling, playing domestic cricket, I would have never had that opportunity. So I think it was all destined, and I don't take it for granted. I've seen what cricket has done for me. I've seen where it has taken me, what it has done for me, and what it has put me in positions to be. And I've always respected the game. I've always turned up, tried to be professional, and obviously lend a helping hand to others as well. So because you never know, cricket is life changing, and it doesn't have to be academics anymore. Sport now can be a way to provide for your family, and I think you got to treat it as such.
What an amazing phone call it must have been to your mum and to your family to say that, look, life's about to change. We're not just talking about making ends meet anymore, but we're able to put ourselves into a different type of situation going forward.
Yeah, I've definitely. Yeah, she was extremely happy for me because she was kind of strict as well when I was younger because she was all about me academically.
Yep.
Going to school, getting a degrees or whatever, graduating and coming up to college and stuff. But my coaches at my primary school and secondary school always thought I was going to be a good cricketer. So they kept talking to her and it's like, academics is not all, sport can do it as well. And she didn't believe it until that phone call came through. And she was like, you know what? This is your destiny. This is where you're supposed to be. So it's like, give it your all and just put your best foot forward and be professional about it. And I've been doing that since.
It's really interesting that your career begins in 2008, which is the first season of the original IPL, right?
Yeah.
And it continues to today. We know what the IPL constitutes these days for cricketers all over the world, but you've come out the other end of that pipeline. Of course, you've done very well in white ball cricket, but primarily a red ball bowler. I mean, there's that interesting contradiction there, right? That you could have easily gone the other way and specialised bowling 4-over spells and had a different journey.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea. I think most guys do it now because it's easier on the body. You make a lot more money on a shorter space of time. You know what? It's business sense. It's actually business wise. But for me, I just said, red ball cricket is where I've grown up watching. I've watched Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh, Michael Marshall, Joel Garner. I've seen the Garfield Sobers in some video clips and stuff before. And the great West Indies team of the 70s and 80s is like, I want to be a part of that stellar cricket. The 4 days of hard cricket, 5 days of hard cricket, and you just come up with a win. It's quite pleasing. So, of course, I would love to be a part of the IPL and T20 franchises, but I think my destiny is here, red ball cricket, and I'm going to put my best foot forward, man, and just give it all.
Your first one-day World Cup in 2011, you lead the wickets for the Windies. You pick up a hat-trick, which are pretty unusual at World Cups against the Dutch, but this is a bit of a period when you're in and out of the Test team. You haven't really completely established yourself as a Test cricketer, which runs into your first trip to England, to Worcestershire in 2011, where you played county cricket, again, emphasising your interest in red ball stuff. But talk us through that, going to a Division 1 club that was holding on for dear life to stay in the top flight when you rocked up.
It was interesting. Obviously, I've heard about county cricket. Obviously, the greats before me played a lot of it. But at that time, Otis Gibson was a coach. And he was very close friends with Bumpy, the coach at Worcester at the time. And they were one of the fast bowler, and obviously they were hanging on to stay in Division 1. So it's like, you know what, Kemar's a good fit for the team. And I went over there, and the Worcester boys are fantastic. I played with Moeen Ali, obviously. He was there at the time. Vikram Solanki as well was part of that scene. But Alan Richardson, he was a senior bowler there, and he took me under his wing, and he taught me a lot in a very short period of time. I think it was 4 games, probably. And took me under his wing, and he taught me a lot about county cricket and how hard it could be. The temperature, obviously, is cold over here, so you got to manage your body and make sure you're stretching stuff and keep yourself warm. And it was a good little stint for me. My first stint, that's 2010, I think it was, and I've enjoyed that. I've looked forward to playing that again. Having a chance to, obviously, I've broke into the Test team after that, but coming here with my second stint, and obviously at Surrey is amazing.
Yeah, you look back at your Test career, it looks like that brief stint in county cricket did help sharpen things up. Something of a finishing school, like you go and get the experience playing here in the UK. Well, the following year, you got a Test tour to England in 2012, where you enhance your reputation yet further. Between times, you play Australia at home in 2012 and have a wonderful test match against them, a 10-wicket match at Port of Spain.
Yeah.
I know you don't win that match, but still, you had a big impact in a test match there, confirming your status as the leading bowler in the team as well, 19 wickets in the season. So if you're looking back through and finding the plot points in your career, getting that first taste of England cricket to finish yourself off as a completed product, if you like, must have been a big part of that.
Yeah, of course it is. I think you get good coaching over here. You already get good coaching over here in England. And back in those days, I needed some coaching. Obviously, I had the pace, I had the youth, I had the exuberance, but I needed some refining. And Otis Gibson, a fantastic bowling coach as he is, he thought that me coming over here to England would have really sharpened me up, and it really did. So I want to thank him for that, for sure. And obviously, going back, obviously playing for West Indies, that has definitely propelled my career for further. Getting wickets. I remember that series against Australia in the Caribbean. That was a good series for us as well. I think we played good cricket. But it has propelled on for a couple of years, and injuries come into it, but you know what? You keep coming back, you keep fighting, and you keep pushing forward.
I look back on that 2012 series over here with a lot of fondness when, there's a couple of bits, isn't there? There's you continually bombing Johnny Bairstow, and at the pace you were then, and we'll come to how you've evolved as a bowler, but when you are raw and you are young and you are scary, and Johnny was a developing cricketer at that point as well, that ended up being one of the major subplots of the series, and you're right in the thick of things.
Yeah, of course. I think me and Johnny are good mates now, actually, from that series. But I just said, as a young guy coming to England, cold temperature, and Otis Gibson was a coach. He's been here for a long period of time playing for Durham. It's like playing under him as a coach, and obviously coming to England where fast bowlers generally get an upper hand of batsmen over here. I think it's a decent series, man. I think I got injured in that series too. I think I had a shin splint in the second test match at Trent Bridge. But I think the Lord's test match was good for me. And obviously we lost that test match though. But I thought bowling wise, we fought that whole test match through. And then obviously going to Trenton Bridge on a very flat pitch, it was tough for me, and obviously got injured. But it was a good experience. Remember that 2012 series against England.
I won't make you talk about the no balls that you bowled that picked up Alistair Cook a couple of times. That'll bring back bad memories. You overcome that. Just to go back and forth with red ball and white ball a little bit, ending up in the early days of the Big Bash League in Australia. You win the comp with the Brisbane Heat. Tell us about that experience of being an overseas import in the very early days of Big Bash cricket.
Oh, it was good. It was great, man. Obviously, if Darren Lima as a coach, fantastic coach. One of the funniest guys going around, I'll promise you that. But he was very professional, very clear-cut, very well planned. I think he had an idea of what it takes to win the Big Bash, and he put it together. The guys went out there, and we played to the plan, and obviously it came out. We won the championship, we won the Big Bash League. And I remember that fondly. I think, funny story, I got to Australia late. I remember traveling from the Caribbean to Australia. It's a long trip, 2 days of flying. And I missed my flight. I missed my flight from Singapore to Australia. So I missed the game that I was supposed to be getting there for. But luckily for me, I got in for the second game. And it was Adelaide. And we went over there, and I think we won that first game as well. So funny story for sure. But I definitely remember good fond memories of Australia, traveling around Australia. Having a Christmas lunch at Darren Lima's house. Great guy. He tells this story all the time about the Hennessy. He's a lie. I didn't drink all. But it has been a great experience, and I enjoyed thoroughly all of it.
That sort of tells the story of modern cricket, doesn't it? That you've come over for a stint in the Big Bash League, and you end up having Christmas dinner with someone who's done so much around the cricketing world, and the experiences that you could get from him and learn from him, but share together too.
Yeah, for sure. I just said, obviously, he knew that I'm pretty new to Australia. I had a series before that, but I think coming back to Australia is new. The Big Bash League is pretty new as well. And he was like, you know what, we're gonna help you out through this. And it was an experience, I would say. Winning it was definitely one of the hardest comps for me at the time. I think it was tougher than the IPL. I didn't play much games in the IPL, but playing at Australia, the Big Bash, it was tough for me. The wickets are flat, and they're fantastic players over there. So, but to come out and win, obviously at Perth against a good side as well, I think it was good memories and a fantastic night out as well.
But it was. Occasionally, Kemar, on this show, we ask our subjects questions and like, oh, actually don't remember that.
Yeah.
I wonder whether you'll remember the next bit. It's come up on Jeff and my history show from time to time. It's when you were playing with the Antigua Hawksbills, the early days of the Caribbean Premier League.
Yeah.
And in 2013, you shared the field with the bloke whose army nearly whacked off in 2009, Ricky Ponting, when he was your import at the very, very end of his professional career.
Yes.
His last ever game was with you guys, with the
Yes.
Antigua Hawksbills. And one of the great quirks of that scorecard, Ponting didn't bat. He was listed to come in at number 8, but Roach did bat. You were elevated above Ricky Ponting to bat number 6. Got a first ball duck. Do you remember it? What on earth was going on there?
I don't have a clue. I think the captain sent me out. I think the captain was Martin Samuels at the time. And he sent me out to bat. And yeah, I don't have a clue what happened. But you know what? Good memories. And I can definitely take it to the grave that I batted before Ricky Ponting in the match.
In his final game, not least.
Right.
What a lovely quirk there. I mean, what was it like sharing the dressing room with Ricky, having played against him in a couple of series at the start of your international career, that there's this guy, Ricky Ponting, is one of your teammates? That must have been extraordinary.
Yeah, obviously after the series in Australia, obviously we had our little tussle. I think he came into the dressing room, he was very professional, as he always has been. He came in, he worked hard. His work ethic was always up, even at the latter stages of his career. I think he came in and he was very professional. He communicated well. He lent advice. He lent a listening ear as well. And I think he did a fantastic job in that CPL. So I would say it was obviously, as I said, the tussle back in Australia, it was a little bit weird, but I think we got past that, and now we're mature adults now. We've gone past that. We have some fun and just enjoy the cricket we play.
It feels like your career can be in some respects separated from Kemar Roach, tearaway, scary dude, running in bowling 150 plus, to a craftsman. And I wonder how much that serious ankle injury in 2014 contributed to that. Decent time away from the game, of course, therefore away from the West Indies team. Did you make a concerted effort when coming back that you're going to do things slightly differently and become a guy who could really control the ball with the best of them rather than simply trying to bowl as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I had to redefine myself, obviously. It was actually the ankle, and it also broke my right shoulder, actually.
Right.
Yeah. While
How'd you do that?
While bowling. I just felt a snap one day. And it was actually a domestic semi-final at home, it's a 20 final. And I just felt a snap, and it came off. I just thought it was obviously a little muscle tear or something. And when I got a MRI, it was an X-ray. It was actually a broken bone. So I had to get surgery for that. And that definitely contributed for me losing pace. The doctor told me that I would never be 100% again, but I'll be able to bowl again, which is a good news. So I had to redefine myself, obviously, into the nets. And it was probably the 6 hardest months of my career, trying to, obviously, find a new identity. Obviously, being quick and young, having pace and stuff was all fine, but now you have to have more control, have more skill. And now you've got to find a way now to get wickets. And it was 6 hard months of therapy and recovery. But you know what? I say I'm here for a purpose. There's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why it happened. So I'll just go out there, see what happens, give it a shot. And honestly, I've enjoyed being able to outfox batsmen now. Obviously, I've lost pace. That's a given. But for me, I enjoy now being able to move the ball both ways and, outfoxing batsmen in all formats with all the red ball games I've played. So it's worked out. I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
It's most certainly worked out. I mean, the numbers before and after the injury are more in favour of after, clearly. So
Yeah.
it's worked for you, but it doesn't happen immediately either. Feels to me like with Windies cricket, maybe we go there at this point. From about 2015-16 onwards, there's the sense of dread a little bit around it. You guys come out to Australia in 15-16 and unfortunately aren't very competitive.
Yeah.
There's a couple of test matches that are massive blowouts and one where you're saved by rain, but it was probably trending in the same direction.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that feel having, by that stage, become a senior player, been around for about 6 or 7 years, and then the conversation moves to what on earth are these guys doing? Should they even be playing Test cricket? What's going on behind the scenes administratively? That must have been a really difficult period in Australia.
Yeah. I think after that series, I got dropped as well. I think it was tough, man. It was tough for me. I wasn't carrying much form. I was carrying some niggles as well. And obviously, as a senior player, you got to be out there. You got to find a way to play and put yourself in a fight. And it didn't work out in my favor. But I have no regrets for it. I think I needed the rest at the time as well. I was going for a long period of time, and it it was very taxing on the body. And there's a lot of things obviously behind the doors in terms
Mm.
of the players and how we're treated by the board and stuff. And it was mentally taxing and physically taxing as well. And we weren't in a good place. The team was quite young. I remember a couple of young guys in that team, and they were mentally distraught as well. So it's like, probably for me, it's time for me to take a little break. So probably the drop definitely came at the right time. And, you know, I went back home, work on myself, work on my game, get my mind fresh again, and came back. And I thought coming back was pretty good until now.
What did you make at the time? And there have been other times as well when there's criticism along the lines of like, these guys just shouldn't be playing Test cricket. I mean, that whether there's administrative reasons for that and commercial reasons for that, with respect to where people have specialised. Of course, a lot of your first choice players have decided to not be Test cricketers. It's clearly a problem. But having been someone who's made Test cricket a priority and then hearing that external noise, what goes through your mind in situations like that?
Yeah, the negativity gets to you sometimes when there's too much of it. And we as a team, we knew that, you know what, we have talent, but we needed a push. And we weren't getting it from the board at the time. At the time, we weren't getting any infrastructure. We weren't getting any proper camps. We didn't get any proper practice sessions. And at that time, we were actually traveling was actually better for us. We get better facilities. We get better environments to practice and hone our skills than at home. So, but obviously on tour, you can't fix problems. It's all about getting your mind right, keeping your body fresh, and playing cricket. So there was a lot going on back in those days, man. And I heard the negativity from the media. We always get it. We always get it because obviously the West Indies team before was so strong, winning for so many years. It's hard to see us the way we are right now, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done at the highest level. People like in charge of the cricket in the Caribbean, they need to make the right decisions. They think they are, but it's always questionable. And I think if they listen to the players more, they will get better results. But that's a story for another time.
Don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, but it's an honest statement. It's an honest statement. I don't want to shy away from it. I think if the people in charge listen to the players more, they will have better results. And it has been going on for too long, and discussions have to be had. I've been saying this for years, but I guess my words are going on deaf ears. But I think discussions need to be had in terms of how can we become better. We may not become world beaters immediately, but we can improve the state of our cricket. We can.
Well, you're as entitled as anybody to have an opinion, given how long you've been in the Windies dressing room. And I think we're all guilty of it on the punditry side of falling into the trap of comparing this Windies team to the teams that were the best in the world for the better part of 2 decades. It's like a trope now, isn't it? Like you can't help but rattle through all those West Indian greats who went to the very top in a very different type of era. I mean, how do you see that, where you are always benchmarked against players who took the world by storm between the mid 70s and the early 90s?
Yeah, it's tough for us, man. Obviously, those guys were extremely good. They're extremely good, and they've laid a foundation for us. So it's hard for people to give up their head, like the good days. You know, the times when it was all happy and you go to cricket and you know that is going to win and they're going to dominate. It's hard for people to get past that. It's very hard to get past. And it's understandable. It's understandable. Like, you don't want to move away from the times when it was good to see the bad times. And it's been tough times for us for years. We've won 20 World Cups.
Yeah.
We've won some pretty good test series and some good test matches. But I think the consistency there is not there. And to be consistent, you need to have consistent infrastructure, consistent systems, and then you keep working and pushing from there. And we don't have that, and that's where we have fell down for a couple of years.
And therein lies the complexity, right? When Windies win T20 World Cups, like, oh, well, there it is. There's that thing that might be possible. And so it applies in Test series as well, that you're back in the side for that magnificent come from behind win at Leeds in 2017 with Shai Hope and the Twin Tons and all the rest of it. So and of course you go out and take a fifer the next week at Lords as well. So you enjoy individual success at a ground where you'd had a bit of fun back in 2012, we referred to earlier. So, I mean, it's not as though West Indies cricket are lacking in moments or lacking in occasionally a very high ceiling, right? Like, you know what it's like to be in dressing rooms where special stuff's happened.
Yeah, of course it does. And we cherish those moments because obviously they come very rarely, but the consistency isn't there. It's just not there. We have one good test match, but then the second test match isn't well, and it goes back to our preparation, the systems that we provide at home, the infrastructure at home, and if you can get those things right, I promise you, we turn those one great test matches, one great days of test cricket into two, into three. Then we're winning series, and then we're competing for the mid-table, and then we're pushing for the top of the table. It happens in the step and in the process, but you need to put the infrastructure and the systems in place first before you even get to that stage.
And you've been tough to beat at home. I mean, especially where England's concerned, right? So 2019, when you thrashed them, your bowling figures of 5 for 17, that performance at your home ground was identified as the best test bowling spell by the ICC that year. And I mean, there are certain opponents you've matched up well against. And then we kind of hit the pandemic, right? Yeah. Which, I mean, maybe we do one bit then the other, like how you've, as a country, been able to consistently do well against England when they're visited.
At home, yeah, I think the conditions play in our favour. Obviously, it's very hot. England coming over there is going to be hard on their bodies. Obviously, it's very hot conditions. And then the pitches aren't nice and green as it is in England. It's a little bit slower. And on different days, the pitches react differently. And obviously, you play at home, so we know the conditions are the best. So for playing England at home is obviously our biggest series, 3-match series, and all the Barmy Army comes over. Yeah. And the atmosphere of the cricket is amazing. It's actually one of the best series to be in. And the cricket is obviously massive. And the rivalry between England and West Indies has gone back years and decades. So we always wanted to keep that going. They've never beaten us at home. We've drawn against them, but we've never beaten us at home. And I think it's about 50 years that they've never beaten us at home. And that's a massive, massive achievement for us. And you got to hold on to something, and that's got to be it. So that's what we look forward to play that series for.
Back in the 70s and 80s, there was a big thing about the Windies doing well against England and the colonial history, right? Yeah, and some comments that clearly fired up West Indian cricketers at the time, infamously Tony Greig. But not just that, other things as well. Course, clearly, when there was more going on than that, and it went back decades, indeed centuries. Do you think there's any left of that in the Windies dressing room, or have we graduated beyond that being something that you guys think about necessarily?
It's not really. We don't really dwell on it. Obviously, it's memory. Remember it. Obviously, what they did, and obviously watching Fire in Babylon. Yeah. That movie. It's very inspirational. And obviously, we understand where all the fire and all the passion comes from. I just said the colonial times, and then the comments by Tony Greig, and it brings a sense of passion, a sense of fire into you for sure. And it's all about us trying to preserve that history. I think, as I said, the forefathers before us, the Vivs, the Clive Lloyds, those guys have been out there, they fought to put West Indies on the map. And obviously, being England our biggest rivals, I think coming to the Caribbean, we got to defend home ground. That's how we look at it. So for me, when it comes to that series, we're more pumped, we're more into it mentally, and it's like we go out there knowing that, you know what, we have something to play for, something to fight for, and that's that history. So for us, it goes deep for us.
Gosh, you guys fought in 2020, that first test of the pandemic era.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it in context. You guys fly out here in the absence of a vaccine, when it's pretty much Plague Island, and you're in your quarantine and you're in your hotels, and it mustn't have been fun to experience in those circumstances. But in that series, beating England in the first test match in a famous final day, 4th innings chase, that must have been, well, you tell me, where does that sit in terms of career moments as a proud West Indian?
That was a tough series. That was the toughest series I've ever been a part of. In terms of, obviously, the procedures we had to go through, the protocols we had to go through in terms of getting cricket to play. Obviously, turning up early, the testing, then we were in our rooms. We can't leave the hotel for 2 months. It was so much taxing on the mental side of it. It's like we forgot that we were here for cricket. We forgot that cricket was actually the reason why we were here. Is like there's so much going on behind of it, obviously, and England's very strict when it comes to the COVID protocols, so we had to adhere to that. And then the cricket, staying at the ground, it's like it was just hard for us mentally to go to that. Obviously, you get a chance to go out and have a lunch and a dinner and have a drink, but there's none of that. So it's all cricket. It's all your job. And for us, that first win was like a breath of a sigh of relief. Obviously, after doing the 2 week camp we had before that, and then going straight into cricket, a lot of guys were tired mentally for obviously just playing every day, training every day, whatever it is we had to do, the amount of testing we had to do. So it's like going out there, playing that test match, and then winning in the fourth innings. It was a tight game as well. I think England bowled extremely well, and we fought. I think Jeremy and Blackwood played a pretty good innings, and we got us over the line. And it was great. Obviously, winning in England is obviously going to be hard for us, and to win the first test match of the series was amazing. So yeah, good memories for sure.
At the time, there was a big point made that, you guys didn't need to be there. You did English cricket a massive favour.
Yeah.
And I don't expect you to get into the politics of ICC funding or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as a player, from your perspective, and someone who's been around the block a number of times now, do you kind of pick your ears up at comments like that and go, yeah, actually, they're right. We should be looked after better. There should be a more equitable distribution of funds around the cricketing world to make sure that a country or countries brought together like the West Indies have a better chance of competing financially in the modern cricket landscape?
Yeah, I think there needs to be equality. There needs to some bit of equality. I understand there's some countries that obviously that has a bigger market, make more money obviously for themselves. But I think the ICC has to find a way to step in and just bring the lower tier up. Let's bring them up to the mid tier. Obviously, let the big three obviously still be leaders or whatever in terms of the infrastructure and the financial part of it. But I think us and New Zealanders and South Africans, I think if we can get us up to the mid table, the quality of cricket will improve, and then you'll see West Indies playing better cricket, probably winning a couple more series, and that's what you want for cricket. That's what you want to go forward. You just want it to be even more than a little bit off balance. I would say it's a little bit off balance where India, Australia, and England they control right now in terms of how cricket is played. And I think West Indies, we have a big part of playing cricket. The way we play, our style of play, our culture. I think it's massive for us to keep us going. So I think the ICC has to step in and obviously take a big hand in changing what's going on and making it a little better for each other.
Your former captain, Jason Holder, spoke with us last year about a number of these issues and his perspective that if the cricket world's serious about the West Indies remaining the West Indies and not breaking up, that there needs to be collective effort. It can't just be us, yelling into the breeze here today at the Oval. It's going to have to turn into decisions that are geared around a complicated group of islands. Remembering you're not one country,
Exactly.
after all, are you? It's a federation of islands, essentially. Being able to compete in a world where the rich is getting richer and the poor can't just suit themselves.
No, it's true. And finances help. It helps. It helps with the system. It helps with the infrastructure. You get better pitches. You get better indoor facilities. You get better coaching. It's like it helps teams. And I think it needs to be a more even disparity in terms of how we share the money, man. I think to keep us competitive. That's what you want, competitive cricket. You want to come to a tournament, you want to come to a series, and you know that two teams are going to battle it out because they're in a better position to play cricket. So I think Jason, I second his opinion, and I think the ICC has to step in and obviously make some changes.
Back to you and your career at this point around the pandemic, you really do become that standard bearer, don't you? I mean, there was so much love for you when you picked up your 200th Test wicket, and you've really motored along from 200 to 285 where you are at the moment. Picked up your 250th against Bangladesh, the country where it all started, some 12 or 13 years later. I mean, of course, there must still be such deep frustration where the team isn't always able to go with you, but pride in your own performance. Your last 5 years have been exceptional.
Yeah, when they put the flag on for the West Indies, it's always about serious business. And I always wanted to be a part of the big names as well. I surpassed a couple of them, but for me, it's all about going out there, putting my best foot forward and getting wickets for the West Indies and helping them to win games, putting in position to win games. And that's all I've ever focused on. I know the milestones and stuff, they come with it, and you got to cherish it. If you're not cherishing it, something's wrong. It's all about cricket, and it's all a part of cricket, cherishing milestones. And for me, when they put that flag on, it's just about going out there and having a good time and getting wickets. I have a couple goals in my career that I want to reach, but that's beyond my control. I can only do as much as I can. But I make myself available. I turn up and I be professional about it, and that's it. That's all I can do, and I control what I can control.
And ultimately, it's 11 cricketers against 11 cricketers, right? I mean, that day at the Gabba last year, early in 2024, when Shamar Joseph, with a near-on broken foot, can't walk, steps out, takes 7 for bowls as quickly as you probably did when you were there in 09, 010. Or indeed, maybe quicker. I mean, there are these moments of inspiration. And again, for you to be part of that, a little bit like as it was when you beat England in 2020 or that Leeds chase in 2017 or other moments along the way, knowing that you were there, you were part of something so special for Caribbean cricket.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I play rubber cricket, man. There's like moments like that. That test match that's going to go down in history. That was one of the best spells in a decade, easily. And to believe that he wasn't even going to bowl that day. He came to the ground with crutches, didn't have his clothes. He was not going to go on the field. And something about the physio at the time said, you know what? I can get you out there for one spell. And he did it. And it goes down in history as one of the greatest spells in the last decade. And to be a part of that series, I thought, barring the first test at Adelaide, I thought we played decent cricket up until that Gabba test. And then going into the Gabba test on a green pitch, pink ball game, we all know Australia at home against pink ball cricket is very hard to beat. But I think we were up for it. We were up for the fight. And it's just the belief we had in ourselves to go out there, give it our best shot, have some fun, and see where it takes us. To come out with a win and to draw a series like that is a massive, massive achievement, and we were grateful for it.
Start of a new World Test Championship cycle around the corner. Nobody really knows what the WTC will look like 2 years from now. I suspect it'll look a lot different. Whether the West Indies are there, indeed, it's all feels like it's a lot for grabs right now, right?
Yeah.
You can't control that. All you can control is running in and doing your thing.
Exactly.
15 away from 100 Test matches. 15 wickets away from 300 in Test cricket. I mean, do you now look at it in sort of those 2 year cycles? If you can keep going over the next couple of years, you'll give yourself a chance to get up towards some numbers that not many West Indians have ever posted.
Look, I take it day by day. Honestly, I would love to play 100 tests. I would love to get 300 test wickets. But as I said, it's beyond my control. I turn up to work, I make myself available, and whoever's in charge at the time makes the decisions, and I live with it. I have no choice, to be honest. So for me, I keep myself fit. That's why I come up with the Surrey, to keep refining my game, to keep myself fresh, to get good coaching, and to keep myself competitive. So that's why I'm here at Surrey, obviously, to keep myself in good shape. And when the West Indies calls me, I'm ready. I'm willing to go, and always giving it my all for the Maroons. So
and ready to run through another Australian team when they rock up in. Well, I guess the first test is in Barbados, isn't it? So it could be on your home ground in the. I think it'll be maybe the middle or late June, near enough to it that you could be there with the new ball at your preferred end, running in at another generation of Australians all those years later. Something special about that.
I would love that. Playing at home is always a great experience. I haven't played at home in a bit. I think the last time I played at home was against England. Yeah, a game draw. So I haven't played at home in a bit. So playing at home is always a great experience. Your family, your friends are there to give you that added support. But let's see how that goes when it comes to June.
First things first, games to win for Surrey here, which I'm sure you'll enjoy giving it your absolute all for. You've been an absolutely tremendous guest, Kemar Roach. Thanks for everything you've done across a long career, and all the best for what's around the corner.
Thank you very much. Cheers.